You know nothing but happiness from this day forward. I know you all agree with me, so cheers.
That's it. Thank you very, very much, Molly. And now I'd like to introduce everyone to the brotherly groom and the best man. Let's give it up for Mr. Michael Stump.
Woo! Stump!
Okay, welcome everybody. I had an introduction, but I have to stop before I go into that to say, this is why we hate him. Because he pulls dances off with daughters. Like, it's just, he's the worst. Is what it comes down to. You all agree with me on that? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you all for coming today. I know for a lot of you, you came a very long distance to be here. Our military men that got here, I know it's very difficult for you. To get here, and I appreciate you all being here, though some of you didn't make it. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Mike. I have the privilege of being Nick's brother.
Half-brother.
Brother. And best man today. It's great to see so many family members that we haven't seen for a long time. Kyle, 12 years. Yeah. It's also very nice to see so many faces that I'm not familiar with. And I look forward to getting to know everybody here today. So thank you for being here today. These two put on a beautiful wedding. It's not an easy thing to do. I know that about a year and a half ago. I put one out 800 miles ago. They one up me with the Hawaii from here to wedding. So I mean, that's what he does. So. About a year and a half ago, Nick stood up at my wedding and he told everybody that I would really regret giving him a microphone and an audience to roast, host, me too. So I just wanted to let everybody know that today we have saved the best for last. So, anyways, growing up with Nick, he was an interesting brother to have. I've learned over the years that siblings, they go through this transition of being absolutely annoying all the time to just being mostly annoying. Nick's no different. At my wedding, he told this wonderful story about how when he was 4 and I was 9, I used to do the older brother trick of unplugging the Sega Genesis controller on him. Now, on normal siblings, Tori and Alexis, that worked fine, because they would play for hours and hours and hours, not controlling anything. But that's what made Nick different. Because after about 2 minutes, he would look right at me and say, I know I'm not playing. If you don't plug the controller in, I'm going to tell Mom. So I just wanted to clear that up first and foremost. That was what it was like growing up with a 4-year-old Nick. He was obnoxiously smart. And later in his life, that would serve him well. I remember the good times with Nick, sledding down the hill on Wendell Drive, kicking in the ice, Uncle Joe. Sliding down the ice hill in the backyard. I taught Nick to keep his elbow in on a free throw. I taught him that if you keep a baseball deeper in your hand, you can throw a better changeup. Okay?
Circle change.
It's actually Nick who inspired me to go into the profession I'm in today, which is a teacher, because I figured if I could get him to be successful on the athletic field, anybody. Eventually, obviously, Nick would grow up. A lot of you know this already. For those that don't, we have a running joke in our family that Nick is the golden child. In high school, I think he really kind of moved into that role of being the golden child. You'd be hard-pressed to find a time where Nick was not on the straight and narrow. Luckily for everybody here, I'm his older brother, so I have a wonderful story of when he was not on the straight and narrow.
Oh no.
This particular story starts, I'm not sure if it was the summer before you went to West Point, it might have been.
Yes.
This particular story was for the summer before he went to West Point. And Nick came to me and he asked me, as most younger brothers do at some point, can you buy me and my friends a bottle of alcohol? And to tell you how straight and narrow Nick was, I said, well, yes, I can do that for you. I knew where he was going. I knew that it was going to be a difficult journey ahead of him. I knew that he wouldn't have the wonderful Portland experience. So I said, yes, I will do that for you, Nick. What would you like me to buy? And he said, of course,
I don't know.
I don't know the alcohol. So I made sure he was going to be a responsible mom.
Thank you, Mike.
And I said, you can have this as long as you stay in the house and you and your friends are responsibly enjoying this. You're 18 now. You're getting ready to go serve our country. I will do this for you. So we did. And I thought that was the end of the story, but luckily for all of us here today, that wasn't happening. Because about 4 months later, I walked into the kitchen to the two girls being interrogated about which one of them was drinking this alcohol. Now, being the good older brother that I am, I waited 10 to 20, 25 minutes to step into the situation and stop it. And I said, Mom, maybe we should call Nick. Maybe it's Nick's. Maybe it's not Tori's, maybe it's not Alexis, maybe it's Nick's.
I was in 9th grade.
Yep. So I don't remember exactly what words were shared on the night. It was something to the effect of, Michael, don't be ridiculous, not the golden child, do this.
I said
But
that.
we convinced her eventually to call him. And I'll recreate the phone call as best I can. We only have my mom's side of it, so we don't know exactly what Nick said, but it went something along with, Nick, I know you were at West Point, making this country a better place to live in. And doing all things that are good. Your terrible sisters, Tori and Alexis, have been drinking heavily, and we need to make sure that they get the proper punishment. Again, I know you do. And she paused. And then she just started laughing and walked out of the room. Now, we don't know what she said. We don't, Nick, I'm gonna guess said something. Yeah, it's my bottle. Yeah, that was mine. That was mine. I know it was it because it was only half drank, so. But anyway, she came back a couple minutes later, the girls were off the hook, and the tally went up to like Golden Child 167,000, and Tori and Alexis 0. That's kind of how it was like growing up with a Golden Child. But honestly, Nick has lived a great life, and he's deserved that moniker. I mean, we joke with him, we poke at him a lot about it. But it is important to know that Nick has done the right thing through his life. I remember when he went to West Point. It was one of those moments where as an older brother, it's hard to be an older brother. But as an older brother, it was one of those moments where you knew you had to say the right thing. That this was going to be one of those moments where he was going to go into a next journey in his life, and you had to have the right words. So I thought about it for a couple days, and I was nervous about it, and right before they swept him off to cut his hair and do all that other stuff they do, I grabbed him and I said, Nick, this journey in life is going to be 90% mental and 10% physical. They're going to try to break you down, but if you can stay strong up here, you're going to be okay. And in Nick's fashion, he looked right back into my eyes and he said, I know. And it wasn't that Nick, like, I know, like, I'm so smart, I know all this stuff. It was a genuine, I know. I hear what you're saying, and I'm ready to go into this next part of my life. And I was so proud of him in that moment. It was probably one of the first moments as an older brother where I could look at him and say, that's not my little brother anymore, he's a man. And it was eerily similar to a couple years later when he called me when I was living down in North Carolina. And I answered the phone and I said, hey, what's going on? And before even saying hello, he said, how do you buy an engagement ring? And in some ways, Nick will always be my 10-year-old little brother. So I kind of pulled the phone away and I put it back and I said, well, this is not a 10-year-old brother question. We should have a conversation about this. So we talked about it, and he told me that he has never been more certain about anything in his life. And we had the discussion. This was a big decision. You have two wonderful young ladies that are going to be joining you on this path. And the last thing he said to me was, I know. And it just hit me that in those two pivotal moments in his life, he used the same exact two words. And in both times, I knew that he was right. Christina, you picked a good guy to take you out of this path, down that way. He's going to be a good husband to you. He's going to be a good role model for Maddie. He had a great example in our dad, Chris. who came into my life when I was about 3 years old and helped me to be the man I am today. So I know that he will be there to protect you and take care of you as you guys go through your lives together. I'm proud of you, I'm proud of both of you, what you've done already. You've moved across the world together. It's not an easy thing to do. So I think it's time, without any further ado, I'm out of paper. To my little brother Nick and his beautiful bride, Christina. That's strength.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's make some noise for the best man, the brother of the room, Mr. Michael Stumpf. Enjoy